So, Dr. Tafabalo,
we will take note
how then
of all the things that they've touched on here.
Okay, let's look at how those things will be looked at. He's talked about the fact that the parties were not carried along. He says the Secretary of COA is a member of the steering committee, a secretary to the steering committee, and he is not aware, he's not sure that he was aware of the meetings or that led to that final endorsement. So how then can these things be resolved? Yes, you tendered your apology, and he was here nodding, in other words, accepting that apology. So how, going forward, what would things be done differently?
But this cannot be totally true. Okay, this cannot be totally true, because if it's the second PRO, he knows everything going on in the steering committee. If you go back to that document, it is the party that presents its candidate, not a candidate presenting himself. The forms have to be filled by the party, not the candidate. They just present their candidate. So the PRO must have been part of the decision-making in the steering committee and should have passed the information to his or her party. I just don't see the argument in that.
You know, that's the point precisely, Tafabalewa, because a lot of people are concerned on the mode of communication within the structure of a party. Did you send out messages to all members of the CUPP from their party heads to tell them that you'll be having such meetings where a consensus candidate, or should I say an endorsement of a particular candidate, will come through? Did you do that, or did you not?
I am a member of the steering committee. The steering committee has a secretariat. It is expected that the secretariat should have done that. Now, I haven't investigated this to any length at all, but if you had listened to the chairman of the steering committee, General Olagunsoye Oyinlola, 2 days ago, he gave a very good explanation on how the process was and everything that needed to be known. So I don't really understand. I mean, I can see that there is a gap in communications, and that should be improved on, absolutely. But, you know, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
If I may come in again, you said that the process will involve, when making the presentation, will involve the party presenting the candidate and not necessarily having the candidate himself be there when he's been presented. Yes. How do you, can you divorce those two really from happening?
There were 3 forms to be filled. There was no time to sit down a party or sit down a presidential candidate. Through these forms, the forms were very clear on the requirements that CUPP wanted to work with. And what had happened was that only 5 parties, COA party is one of them, scaled through. But a consensus candidate can only be 1. So out of those 5 that scaled through, the best of the best was taken. And that was it. The evaluation was eventually done by the steering committee. But the selection committee came up with 5 candidates. But there can only be 1 winner. And that was what happened.
All right, let's get back to the Lagos studio here. Dr. Byron.
Yes.
First of all,
yes.
Do you accept the apology?
I absolutely, I mean, Dr. Jalil is a senior brother, he's a bosom friend, and the 3 of us belong to NIM. We are founding members of Nigerian Intervention Movement. I do accept the apology, but the fact that if somebody slaps you on the left cheek and you move away your head, doesn't mean that you have not forgiven the person. You just don't want him to slap you again. I've accepted the apology, and I accept they have a coalition presidential candidate. But as far as CUPP party presidential candidate is concerned, he is not a part of that. And CUPP party will be flying its flag by the special grace of God 2019. The young people of Nigeria, they want to listen to issues.
So are you pulling out of the CUPP?
No. We are not pulling out of the CUPP, not that. That's why I said there are different levels at which, look, the please. The CUPP was formed for several reasons. It is true they wanted a coalition candidate, but you also wanted a working framework where there will be peaceful elections, where people will understand, right? At that time, there were about 30 or 40 parties. We want to see the possibility to reduce, but at least we had the opportunity, we should have an opportunity of a fair hearing. Somebody cannot fill forms on my behalf. Up till tomorrow, I haven't seen the originals of the forms. They just ask questions. It depends on the details and what I had filled. What's your qualification? What's your work experience? This and that.
Were you asked this question?
Oh, I was asked by my own secretary, and he filled the forms. No, we have to submit the forms. It's natural. There's no problem with that. But the point is that go to step 3, section B. Their presidential candidates must make presentations.
But no, hold on. Before you said step A. Don't go to B before A.
Yes, the data from the 3 questionnaires from each party.
From each party.
Yes, that is
what he's saying is the party.
Yes.
Then the presentations made by each party and its candidate.
And its candidate. That's what we are saying. You see, if you say there are criteria, that means that there are several steps that should be taken before you get to a point A. Now, if you miss one of those steps, there is a problem. Now, the problem...
In fairness,
we'll take a moment.
We'll just take a moment very quickly, and we'll be back. And this will continue. Join us again.